how am I going to explain to them the importance of knowing the tenses? Because imagine somebody just told you, I loved you so much, instead of I love you so much. Oh my God, I have to fix this. So in this video, we will compare all the German tenses with the Swiss German tenses. German has 6 tenses. First of all, we have 3 different past tenses. The Plusquamperfekt, Perfekt, and Präteritum. Oh my God, Plusquamperfekt. Whoever came up with this name? So Plusquamperfekt is basically the past perfect. Perfect is the present perfect and Präteritum is the simple past. Then we have the present, which is presens. Presence. We just have one present tense. Makes sense, doesn't it? So then we have 2 different kinds of futures. We have future 1 and future 2. So I asked a few German-speaking people to say 2 different sentences in all the different tenses, and I compared them with my Swiss German. And the sentences are I drive and I eat. Ich fahre and ich esse. Ich fahre, ich esse. Let's start with the Plusquamperfekt, which is the most further back in the past.
Ich war gefahren.
Ich bin gefahren.
Ich hatte gegessen.
Ich habe gegessen. So, first of all, ich war gefahren becomes ich bin gefahren. Ich hatte gegessen becomes ich habe gegessen. As you can see, Swiss German doesn't have a Plusquamperfekt. Swiss German doesn't have a past perfect tense. We instead use the perfect. So let's check the perfect.
Ich bin gefahren.
Ich bin gefahren.
Ich habe gegessen.
Ich habe gegessen. See? So, we do have the perfect. We say it very similarly to German. Ich bin gefahren, ich habe gegessen. Perfect. Let's have a tick. We do have a perfect tense. Let's check the Präteritum, the simple past. Listen up.
Ich fuhr.
Ich bin gefahren.
Ich aß.
Ich habe gegessen. Oh my God, ich fuhr again for the 3rd time becomes ich bin gefahren. And ich aß becomes for the 3rd time ich habe gegessen. So, we don't have a Präteritum. Swiss German doesn't have a simple past. Instead, we always use the perfect if we want to talk about anything that has happened in the past. Anything that happened in the past. Okay, now let's check the present. Do we have a present tense? That would be really sad if we didn't.
Ich fahre.
Ich fahre.
Wir essen.
Wir essen. So, ich fahre becomes ich fahre. Same, isn't it? And ich esse becomes ich esse. Yes, Swiss German does have a present tense. I think it's important to have that in a language, I think. Imagine if you don't have that. What would the world look like? Okay, now let's go back to the future. Let's see if Swiss German has a future. I really hope so.
Ich werde fahren.
Ich werde fahren.
Ich werde essen.
Ich werd essen. So this tense is a bit special because of course I can say ich werd fahre, but in everyday life we very seldom say that. We would rather use the present tense to talk about the future. You can just check my other videos where I dive into this a little bit more, but you know, if I want to say ich werd auf Luzern fahren, for example. Ich werde nach Luzern fahren. I would just say ich fahre auf Luzern. I would use the present tense. Of course, sometimes you might hear it, but really, if Swiss people talk about the future, they would rather try to explain it with words like ich fahre morgen auf Luzern. So, let's give it a tick and a cross. Why not? So, half. Let's check the future too.
Ich werde gefahren sein.
Oh my God. Ich werde gefahren sein. I don't think we would ever say that.
Ich werde gegessen haben.
Ich werde gegessen haben. So, ich werde gefahren sein. I mean, I could say ich werde gefahren sein. And ich werde gegessen haben. I could say ich werde... Now, God, where is my... Where did it go? Okay. Ich werde gegessen haben. I mean, I could say that, but honestly, I don't think I've ever used this tense. Anyway, if I were you, I would just forget about those two future tenses, but instead, if you want to sound like a real Swiss, either just use the present and add like morgen fahre ich auf Luzern, so morgen fahre ich nach Luzern, or übermorgen fahre ich auf Luzern, übermorgen fahre ich nach Luzern. And don't use the future tense, just use the present tense and add tomorrow, after tomorrow, these kind of things. Or use the very special form, typically Swiss, ich gang go fahre. Maybe you could compare it to the I'm going to drive. I'm going to eat. So if you're just about to do something, you can always say ich gang go fahre. Ich gang go ässe. This doesn't exist in German, but more likely in English, you have a similar tense in English. So you can always use that one. So to recap, to talk about the past, we always just use the perfect. I have eaten. Ich habe gegessen. Ich habe gegessen. To talk about the present, just use the present. To talk about the future, either use the present tense and add tomorrow, after tomorrow, next year, whatever. Or if you're just about to do something, you can say ich gang go ässe. Got that? Really, you have to keep that in mind because everybody will be like blown away if you say this kind of sentence to them. Hello, we just covered the 6 tenses. That's it. That's that. It's done. God. And wait, look what I just learned. Check out my other videos. This one and this one. Check. And next time, don't say ich hab dich geliebt. Past tense. You would say ich lieb dich. Tschüss. All the best.